This past weekend, your team traveled down to York University in Brandeis and played this weekend. You won both. Let's begin with the first game in which both sides of the ball played well. Your team shot 47% and held the opponent to 30% field goal shooting. What are your thoughts on the game?
I thought we came out really strong and made a nice little run at them. I think we were up 10-0. But NYU, to their credit, came back, and they actually had a lead there for a while in the first half. We were in some major foul trouble. But we had some other kids step up. I mean, I think Michaela White played really well for the whole game, but that stretch there in the first half. Jenna Lillimo, as a freshman, coming in for, Dana was out this past weekend with an injury, and Jenna, in a lot of ways, carried us offensively at the end of that first half. So able to get back to able to get our lead back going into halftime and made a little bit of a run in the second half. But NYU came back again and kind of cut it to about 6, I think, and then finished off with a pretty nice run to kind of leave us with that spread there at the end of the game.
Was this your team's best overall game on the season?
I probably wouldn't go that far. I thought we did have a couple breakdowns, and I think for periods, for stretches during the game, I thought we were really, really good on both sides of the ball. But I wouldn't put that in the category of our most complete game. I think we've had a couple other games here at home where we've played a little bit better than that overall.
Let's move on to the second game, which is Brandeis. This was a highly closely contested game throughout. What are your thoughts on this game?
In a lot of ways, it was a typical Brandeis game in the sense that they do a lot of nice things to slow us down. I was really proud of our kids the way that we limited their offense. And Brandeis is one of the scariest teams in this conference. Carroll does a phenomenal job coaching that group, and their guards are about as scary a set of guards as you're going to have in this league. And I was really proud of the way that we limited them. And again, it was a defensive struggle. Fortunately for us, our shots weren't falling. I think Brandeis had a lot to do with that. And it wasn't the most athletically pleasing game in a lot of ways. I mean, I think both sides will say it was a really ugly game. But we've been good in those games. We've taken it to a special level, so to speak, of uglying up a game. That's a term that people like to use when they're watching us. And we can really ugly up a game, and our kids are used to that. And when it comes down to a fight like that, I like our chances.
Did you mention it was an ugly game? 43 turnovers combined for both teams.
I didn't even know that, but okay.
Yeah, 43 turnovers. Would you say more sloppy or more of a defensive struggle?
A little bit of both. I mean, I think the way that both teams play, they can, again, we can both ugly up a game, but it's not the in-your-face defense getting out in the passing lanes. It was just kind of, I think both teams made some unforced mistakes. I don't mean that against them. I think Carroll would sit here and tell you the same thing. But neither one of us was willing to give up an easy basket. And sometimes when you force team, you're not giving up anything easy, you start to press a little bit, and all of a sudden the ball gets thrown all over the gym, and happy feet, and all of a sudden we're traveling. And so yeah, a little bit of both. I think we both contributed to it being sloppy, both good and bad.
Okay, Brianne Halfhill, she had a good game. She scored 19 points, including the points that put your team ahead for good. What are your thoughts on her play?
She's had a little bit of a difficult season. I think she came in, and this is more difficult when you have all sorts of expectations put on you. But that kid has battled, and she has worked tremendously hard, and I couldn't be happier for her and more proud of the way that she's carried herself this year. I mean, it hasn't been the easiest of seasons for her, but she stepped up in some really big games. I mean, this is very similar to that Case game that we were struggling, and all of a sudden we kind of rode her for a little bit. And they zoned us a little bit the other day, and Brianne hit some shots. And I thought even a few of those that didn't go in, I thought for sure that she was going to make a few more of those. But really proud of the way that she's battled back here in the last few weeks, and probably was the biggest reason that we won that game Sunday.
Yeah, this upcoming weekend you're going to play Carnegie and Case.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about the teams?
Both very dangerous and very, very strong teams. I think Carnegie's done a tremendous job this year, and you can't look at their record. I mean, they've had a lot of really close games, and I know that we, a little bit of I wouldn't say a blowout, but there's a larger point spread in our game with them than what they've typically been used to this year. But that can very easily change. We seem to match up well with them, but they're a scary team. They can defend and they can rebound. Maybe you can make the argument they're one of the better rebounding teams in the league with us, and it's going to be a dogfight. They're coming off a pretty big win this past weekend and played Rochester very close on the road. So I'm expecting it to be a dogfight, and Case is always scary. It's just a team that we just don't match up with very well, and they're a non-traditional team. They're not that. They're so different from us in a lot of ways, and that'll be an interesting game on Sunday.
All right, well, good luck.
All right.
Hopefully you guys win 2 games.
We're hoping so.